expired, and shortly after the commencement of this meeting, we're going to open up for the appointment and election of our new chairman and vice chairman. With that, I will call on Commissioner Hollis to lead us in our invocation.
Everyone bow your heads, please. Gracious Lord, we thank you for another day. We thank you for another year, Lord. Lord, we ask that you look upon this county. We ask that you look upon the citizens, look upon everyone that has lost loved ones due to this COVID and due to any other health issues. Lord, we just ask you to come into this meeting, bring your presence so decisions can be made to the best of our ability and with your help. Lord, these others we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. At this time, if you please stand, and I'll lead us in our pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Every 2 years, the Truman County Board of Commissioners elects a chairman and a vice chairman between the membership of the board. At this time, I will begin the process. What I will ask for is a nomination for the office of chairman. I'll ask if the person accepts the nomination. I'll ask if we have any more nominations. At that point, I will close the nominations and we will hold an election for the position of chairman. We will do it by vote. We'll have the board members raise their hands. After that, we will open up the floor for appointments in the election of vice chairman. At the expiration of that, I will announce who the chairman and vice chairman are, and we will turn the meeting over to the chairman. At this time, are there any nominations for the position of chairman?
I think she's trying to call Joy, Commissioner Muggs.
What's going on?
She's calling Commissioner Muggs.
Commissioner Powell, this is Angie.
Powell, I'm sorry.
On speakerphone, fixing my phone and ask for nominations for chairman.
All right. Is Commissioner Joey Powell not personally present today?
They're leaving the spot for whatever.
Very well. He's going to participate like
I'll
Powell?
tell them.
All right.
I'm putting it closer so y'all can hear.
Joey, can you hear us?
Commissioner Powell, can you hear us?
Yeah, barely. Not really good.
Okay.
All right. At this time, are there any nominations for the position of chairman of the Truman County Board of Commissioners?
I'd like to renominate Nancy for position chair.
Commissioner Hooks, do you accept the nomination for chairman?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do we have any other nominations for the position of chairman of the Truman County Board of Commissioners?
I think someone else wants to be nominated, so to be fair, I think I should nominate this person, but I do want both nominees, if we can, to please tell the public and us what we expect from a chair. So at this time, I nominate Commissioner Gillis.
All right. Commissioner Gillis, do you accept the nomination?
Yes.
All right. Do we have any other nominations for the chairmanship of the Truman County Board of Commissioners? With no further nominations, I will close the nomination process for the chairmanship. At this time, we'll move into discussion before the vote. Commissioner Hooks, do you have any comments you wish to make before we proceed to the election?
First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. I appreciate the nod as motion for chairman. I think everyone pretty much knows me. I've sat in the seat for 4 years. I've worked with boards to we've really cut our budgets in places we've able not to be able to raise the millage rate. We've been able to offer a lot of services to the county. Some services have been discontinued. We've been able to open those back up. We cut a lot of our overhead staff at office. You know, we're not running a $90,000 county manager under administration with me as chair. There's just so much. I really didn't wasn't expecting this, but I didn't have time to compile everything. But you know, everybody comes to these meetings and comes to this board. they know what they get with a Lance Hooks administration, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve for 2 more years.
Thank you, Commissioner Hooks. Commissioner Gillis, would you like to make any comments?
Yes, I would like to say that, I think it would be good practice if we change chairmen every 2 years. They do that in other counties. It'll give everybody an opportunity that's willing to serve. One thing I have been looking at, or I looked at last year, was the spending. I'm not sure that everybody's familiar with the rules and regulations and guidelines concerning spending. What I found last year was that there had actually been some misuse of funds, regardless of, I don't know what it was about. If it was somebody didn't know, didn't take the time to do it. And that would be one thing that I think really needs to be looked at closely. And I have the whole county interest in mind. I don't have any personal interest whatsoever, really. I'm thinking about the citizens of Triple County who are in this country, their best interest.
Thank you, Commissioner Gillis. At this time, we will proceed to vote. I will ask that all commissioners raise their hand to vote, with the exception of our commissioner who is absent today. Joey, when you exercise your vote, would you please say aye? Can you hear me, sir? Kayla?
Commissioner Powell, did you hear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't hardly hear what's being said.
Here, would you bring this phone over here? All right, Joey, I have the phone right here. Can you hear me now, sir?
I can hear you.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm about to open up the voting process. Everyone else is going to raise their hand to exercise their vote. Since you're not personally here, you just say aye when you exercise your vote. Okay, sir? All right. At this time, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of Lance Hooks being elected chairman for the Trooper County Board of Commissioners for the next 2 years, please raise your hand or say aye. All right. I have Commissioner Quinn Mullis, Lance Hooks, and Joey Powell voting in favor of the election of Lance Hooks as chairman. Thank you. All those in favor of Thayla Gillis being elected as chairman of the Trooper County Board of Commissioners for the next 2 years, please raise your hand or say aye. All right. Let the record reflect that we have 2 votes. We have Ms. Kayla and Thayla Gillis voting for Thayla being elected. Let the record reflect that by a vote margin of 3-2, Lance Hooks has been elected as chairman of the Trooper County Board of Commissioners for the next 2 years. At this time, I will open up the floor for nominations for the election of the vice chairman of the Trooper County Board of Commissioners. Are there any nominations?
I nominate Kelly Hollis.
All right. Ms. Hollis, you've been nominated to serve as vice chairman for the next 2 years. Do you accept that nomination?
I do.
All right. Are there any other nominations for the position of vice chairman of the Trooper County Board of Commissioners? Going once, going twice. I hereby close the nomination process. I will announce to the board that we only have 1 nomination for the position of vice chairman. I would entertain a motion for a vote of acclamation to elect Kayla Hollis as the vice chairman of the Trooper County Board of Commissioners for the next 2 years. Is there such a motion?
I make that motion.
We have a motion by Quinn Mullis. Do we have a second?
I second.
A second by Thayla Gillis. Any further discussion? All in favor of electing Kayla Hollis as vice chairman of the Trooper County Board of Commissioners by a vote of acclamation, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
All right, let the record reflect that it was a unanimous vote. The motion's carried. Kayla Hollis is the vice chairman of the Trooper County Board of Commissioners for the next 2 years. Thank you. All right, at this time, I will turn over the meeting to our Chairman Lance Stooks. I'm going to return, Joey, I'm going to return the thumb to the center of the room, okay, sir? All right. Thank you.
All right, again, welcome everyone to the Truman County Board of Commissioners, first meeting of the year. Appreciate everyone for attending. Look forward to having a great year for the county. First order of business before the board will be the approval of the minutes from the December 7th regular meeting. Open the floor for approval of said meeting, agenda meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from last month.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion upon the minutes? Not all in favor, vote aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, second order of business before the board would be the utilization of some new phone systems for the annex. Ms. Angie's given everyone a packet, information in the packet of what this would cost, what this would entail. This will get them where they can transfer internally and be able to update what we have over there. And bear in mind, these phones are movable. If we do something different in the future, these phones will be able to be transferred. So, Ms. Ann, you have anything you want to add?
When Thomas with Clintus went, he went straight to every office, so this is, they're aware of what every office's needs are.
So we have a quote for $3,991 for phone systems for the annex. I open the floor for a motion for procurement.
And this cover all the offices at the annex?
Yes, ma'am, and it would also cover any problems they have, they would cost, cover some of the stuff like that.
How about at the courthouse? Didn't we talk about the courthouse
Yes,
too?
right now, they're satisfied, that they don't want to change anything, that if they want to in the future, we can do that as well.
Y'all said this does not include the courthouse at this time, right?
No, sir. It's just the annex, the offices in the annex. Which covers the probate, magistrate, tax commissioner, tax assessor, board of registrars.
Okay.
This will also allow them to have, you see it, their voicemail, they can create their own voicemails, they can change it if for some reason they have to be out of the office or anything like that. And each person that has their own line, they can have their own voicemail, and then they can have a general voicemail too for the entire office.
So now what the problem is, everybody's phone ringing to everybody's office. Is that what the problem is?
I believe to the tax assessor's office. And see, these were the phones that were what the old bank had, and Platinum phone does not, they don't cover these phones. They can't service them as well.
Okay.
I'll say too that there's a lot of times I got calls from different ones in the community concerning officers answering the telephone in the annex building. And sometimes they just ring, and this would leave a function on where the person would be able to leave, at least be able to leave a voicemail to that corresponding office.
Because
to
every
let them
time
know.
they can't get someone, they call our office and they want to know why that, and we don't always know what the reason is. And most of the time, people just want to hear a voice. They just want to know that somebody's listening to them and, that somebody will call them back.
Okay.
So we either get a motion or we put something else.
I make a motion to go ahead and approve the phone systems at the annex and the commissioner's office.
We done the commissioner's office.
Just annex.
All right, I have a motion for procurement of the phone system through Clintus for $3,991. I second that motion. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. All opposed? December balances. We have these all laid out upon our package here for everyone, the information thereof. Our general fund, we're sitting at $2,025,601.83. We still have our CD at the Bank of Soper for $376,818.07. We still have the remaining LMIG from 2019. We're carrying into the process of buying rock in different places in the county, and we have a few more things that's got to come out of that, signage and whatnot. We have our 2019 splosh that's building up, and that's for our, it's at $185,445, and that's for our splosh is for our projects like we're renovating, putting the roof on the courthouse and different projects. So that's coming in, it's building up nice. We have our crime victims funds, $202,159. Drug abuse treatment education, $52,946. Drug seizure fund, $24,068.44. E911, $254,584. Got $39,150.20 in jail reserve. We have $170 in our Troop and Wheeler landfill account. And our T-Splash is $563,689.30. And being the first of the year, Miss Angie hasn't had the statements yet, but as soon as she gets that compiled, she'll give y'all a per account figure on the current percentages of the budget and where we stand on those. Any questions about the balances? If not, that includes our public portion of our meeting today. Appreciate everyone for attending.
Can I ask a question before we go into something else?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, last week I was trying to be put on the agenda to talk about 4 things.
Yes, ma'am.
And you sent out an email saying that I had to give you details, and I just want clarification on that, make sure I'm understanding that. That I have to give details, specific details as to what I'm going to say at the meeting before you would approve for it to go on the agenda. Is that right?
No, ma'am.
Yes, it is.
No, ma'am.
I got email right here.
We're reading email, but that's not what I said.
You said I would be glad to put something on the agenda if you can give specifics on what about these topics is to be discussed, voted on. For example, did you not like that?
Yeah, read the examples.
Spending. Do you want to discuss the per diem rate? Do you want to discuss if it's being paid right? Has somebody done something wrong? On hiring procedures, do you want to change the guidelines overall? Change equal opportunity guidelines? Are you concerned equal opportunities aren't being followed? I had board appointment, district representation. You didn't have anything about that. I had mobile food pantry. You didn't have anything about that. It was just that you were not going to put the items on there unless I gave you specifics and goes to spending.
I'm glad you brought this up. With starting off the new year, I think it's best to go ahead and confront this as it is. And let's make it, as a board, we'll come together. And it's really not, I welcome anyone to bring anything to this meeting or anyone to participate in these meetings. I'm not here to squelch anyone's voice by any means, but what I would like to have as a board is a professional meeting. And in doing that, it's not fair to me or any board member to come sit and ask to comment, get less vote to change policy on any subject matter where they're not given enough time to do research to figure out, where are we at? I mean, if we had if we had this agenda and it just had spending on it, no one coming to this meeting would be able to prepare to be able to appropriately respond to anything because there's no way we know. as great as we all think we are, there's no way nobody knows everything. We all need to be able to do our homework to be vocal about anything. So I think maybe what we're to disconnect is maybe we need to look at once a month meeting and having a workshop where if there's something like that comes up and someone wants to talk about it, let's talk about it. If we can answer the questions at that time, let's do it. But anything that comes in this official meeting, I'd like to see the board amend our practices that anything brought to this meeting is just put on this agenda. There has to be some information put forth, just like when we voted on the phones. You know, everybody got a packet here, and it had the information on the procurement of phones and what it was going to cost, where it was going to go. You know, if we didn't have that coming in here, we wouldn't have had a clue when we come in here what we were fixing to vote on. So I think it's fair to the members of any board that resides on the board to be able to know what they're facing the day or the morning of. So I'd like to see us make a motion, and I'm going to go ahead and open the floor up for this motion if this board decides to do so. But if you're going to bring something to be on the agenda, that it has to be brought forth, information brought forth of what's going to be on the agenda, and it has to be run by the clerk or the clerk and either, and I'll leave this up to the vice chair. If someone don't want to bring something to me, you're more than welcome to bring the information to the vice chair or the chair, and that way we can get the information up for the topics that's going to be discussed going forward. And I don't think that's not silencing no one. That's just trying to be prepared to run a professional meeting. And I relay over to our county attorney, Mr. Everett, if you think anything I've just said is out of the way or hinders anyone's civic duty whatsoever.
Let me ask this question.
I'll come back to you for a response in just 1 second. I'm asking the attorney on what I just said.
I believe I responded to everyone by email on December 31st, and I stand by what I said in that, or wrote in that email. The best meetings, and I've probably been to more meetings than anyone in this room when it comes to county, city, or school board meetings, been hundreds if not thousands of them. The best ones, there are no surprises. Everyone on the board, every member knows exactly what we're going to talk about, what's going to be voted on, and they have background information on it. Truman County meetings, the last couple of years here, it's kind of a free-for-all. Now, you guys have run a fairly informal meeting structure, but sometimes I come here, we start talking about things I had no idea what we were going to talk about, and I have no factual background, and people ask me my opinion on things, and I suspect the same holds true for some of you commissioners. You step into a meeting, and suddenly you're put on the spot to answer something you don't know anything about, you don't know the background, you don't have any documents. And Taylor, you've had a bad habit of doing that in the past. You wait till a meeting to spring up a new topic. The most efficient way to run a meeting is for everyone on the board or everyone on the council to know in advance exactly what we're going to talk about, what you're expected to make a decision on or a statement on. If I was a commissioner on this board and I had concerns about something, far in advance of the meeting, I would get those concerns and that information to my other board members by email or by mail, and I would have something specific long before the meeting. They have a habit in the past of you'll just spring something on us from time to time. And I don't know if you're trying to play gotcha or if you thought the meeting was the best place to bring it up. A meeting's not the best place to introduce something to the other board members. To be honest, I don't think they appreciate it from time to time. I don't always appreciate being hit with something off the cuff. And meetings are not necessarily public hearings. This happens to be a Truman County Board of Commissioners meeting that is open to the public. That doesn't always mean that we need to get input from everyone in the public. And I understand politically it's usually wise to entertain the public's request for information. But a meeting's often not the best forum or venue for that. So I'm going to defer back to my email of the 31st that I think you need to tighten up your policies a little bit. That doesn't restrict any member's right of free speech. It doesn't restrict your ability to communicate with each other. The meeting is just one of your opportunities to communicate and do business.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Okay, I've been on this board, this right now is the beginning of the third year. When I first came on, there was a section on the agenda, commissioners' comments. Nobody ever said to me that if you're gonna make a comment, I need to know what it is. So I made comments if I had something to come up. Okay, last March, I made some comments because it had commissioners' comments on here. I asked about suspending, and then the next month, commissioners' comments was no longer there. So I was told in the May meeting, if you want to be on the agenda, if you want to say something at the meeting, you have to be on the agenda. So since that time, I've always put what I was going to need to talk about on the agenda. Have I not? Have I not? I have. Okay. I put words before like county spending. That was no problem. I put dumpsters, no problem. This time I put spending, board appointments. If I put board appointment, district representation, to me that's self-explanatory. I don't see, whether you don't understand that, anybody should think that she's gonna talk about board appointment, she evidently wants to talk about district representation on the boards. Okay, but then so now I get the email last week saying, well, you gotta tell me what your specific questions are before you could go on the agenda. Now that was quite different. And one other thing, Tom, now, you're the attorney here. Now, the reason Kayla and I are on this board is because in the A's, a lawsuit had to be filed for us to get some black representation in the county. Now, if we're going to have black representation in the county, then if I've got to say what this white boy tells me, I can say.
I'm not going to sit here and be called a white boy to me. That does not get nobody nowhere to bring anything nice to the Creek community. No one's made nothing black or white. This is just simple. Hey, if you want to bring something to the meeting, let us know what we're going to talk about. It's as simple as that. I mean, it's not, we're going down a road that none of us need to be going down right now.
To be completely candid, I've been going to these meetings for 20 years. I've been county attorney for 20 years. Since you got on the meeting, on the board, our meetings are different now than they've ever been. If someone has gone to these meetings for 20 years and watched it, the last 2 years since you've been on the board, the meetings are completely different because you will pull stuff out which are often valid concerns. I am not diminishing your concerns, but you just spring them on us, or they say, I feel like they're sprung on me. I don't know how the other board members feel, but at a meeting one day you'll make some vague allegation about something. I don't have the first document in front of me. I don't know the facts about it. Please let me finish. Please let me finish. And then I'll let you keep on. But sometimes to be honest, I'm a little nervous coming in here. I'm thinking, what in the world is going to come up in the meeting today? In fact, I ask Angie that from time to time because I don't know. It's like spinning a wheel of fortune, and I don't know what topic's going to come up or what kind of rabbit hole we're going down. And I don't know the background. Other commissioners, you guys feel the same way too from time to time. And that's not how meetings are operated in places. These meetings the last 2 years are, I bet you go to the Truman County Board of Education meeting, there are no surprises over there. The board members know exactly what they're going to talk about, what they're going to discuss. If you've got, let's say you have a concern about something, get the information to all of us in advance. And then when we come to the meeting, we know what we're here to talk about.
So nobody ever told me that I need to talk to somebody before. What I've been told is, if you want to go on the agenda, present it to Angie the Thursday before we have the meeting. And that's what I've done. But now it's a problem. Now.
Well, I think, to be honest, I think Angie and the rest of the board accommodated you as a courtesy for 2 years. And I suspect everyone's had enough of it.
So
chairman of the Truman County Board of Commissioners is in charge of the agenda. And the chairman has the discretion to place something on the agenda or not place something on the agenda. And that's pretty well absolute. There's not, there can be some bitching and whining about it, but that's not going to change. If I'm a commissioner and I think there's something important, and the commissioner doesn't want to put it on the agenda, I would get that other information to my other board members. I'd probably also get it to the county attorney and the clerk. And I would think ultimately, if they think it's relevant, they're going to talk to the chairman also and urge him or her to put it on the agenda. I suspect if Lance had 2 or more commissioners want to put something on the agenda and he knew what the specific nature of it was, he's going to put it on. I think that's true for any chair.
It's never been said that I'm supposed to.
Well, I'm saying it now.
That I'm supposed to give out. But this, in fact, if I've got to tell somebody what I'm going to say at the meeting before I get here, how am I representing my board? I'm giving you, if I want to talk about board appointments.
There is nothing in the past. Let's say I'm a commissioner in the past, and I had something I wanted brought up. A lot of commissioners would talk to the other commissioners in advance and let them know what was important to them or what they wanted to talk about, and talk to the chairman about it.
You know what? The items I have here weren't anything to be voted on. That's one thing. Okay, the next thing is, we've been here, I've been, just like I said, you know how long I've served, 2 years. But I've not brought anything up that I haven't put on the agenda since when I was asked to put on the agenda. Now, I talked with another commissioner and they said out of courtesy they might do that, but that's not a problem. And it's just never been a problem. I talked to a past commissioner, and they're saying,
I'll be honest with
like
you.
for instance, the commissioners come, they're on here, and then whenever I made a comment, then they get to office with regular aid, and you're not going to let me represent my district?
No one is preventing you from communicating or representing your district. What I don't think personally is efficient for this board or any board is for some commissioner to bring something up at a meeting that the other commissioners have no idea what you're talking about or what the background is on something, and then you have a habit of trying to put everyone on the spot to answer questions, and we don't have a clue. The meeting is not the place for it.
I don't think put anybody on the spot.
I'm going to respectfully disagree with that.
Okay, we've had time. I want to intervene on this meeting
Can I ask you
in
one
the
more
order of
question?
time. But we spent a bunch of time on
Can
this.
I ask
think
you one
we're
more
going
question? Because he made
I'm
some
going to
comment
make
about
motions on
making
the
allegations.
floor.
What allegations have I made?
Out of order. Out of order. No one's making any allegations. I'm taking over this meeting. We're moving forward. If we want to discuss this, we will have a workshop, and we will sit here and we will argue for 2 hours, whatever we want to do. But right now, we're having an official
I want to
meeting.
say
This meeting's going
I
forward.
want to say this.
This
That-
meeting's going
that-
forward. All right, at this time, we're going to make, you're out of order, right?
Back in the 80s, when that lawsuit was filed for us to have black representation, what you're trying to do to me
This
is
is not-
cut
this
out
is embarrassing.
me representing my district.
This is embarrassing. So, okay, if I can please have the order of the room back, I'm going to make a motion that if anyone, Joy, are you up? Joy still on the phone? Joy, can you hear me?
I barely hear y'all.
Turn the phone this way, please.
It's all right.
Turn the speaker plate this way, please. To solve this problem going forward, I think this is the best thing to do. To solve this problem going forward, and just say this is across the board. This is not singling anyone out. You know, if I didn't want to hear from Commissioner Gillis, I never would let us get in this to start with. I wanted her a chance to say what she wanted to say. All right, we've done that. But I want to say going forward, you know, listen, I'll call this board together anytime anyone has any problems to discuss anything they think's wrong for a workshop. As far as these official meetings, we're gonna have an agenda and we're gonna stick to them. And I think, I wanna make the motion that if we have any commissioner wants to put anything on this agenda, it has to, the information for said matter has to be brought forth to the clerk, to the chairman, or to the vice chairman going forward. And it's not singling no one out as far as anybody. And also, if someone wants to be on for public comments for the public, they need to fill out some kind of documentation about what they'd like to address the board about. I think that's fair. The school board does that. And I think it's just a way to run a professional and fluid meeting. So with that, I make the motion to, one, have matters brought up before the chair or vice chair or the clerk and the clerk before being on the agenda, and for public comments to have a written form filled out on the subject matter to have come before the board. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Do I have any further discussion?
Yes, I need clarification on what exactly has to be on there.
Just enough that we can have, if you want to talk, just say you want to talk about spending. We using spending. If something's been spent somewhere or something you have a question about, just give us some information, just enough that we can talk about or do research on what you want to talk about. I mean, you may want, and I'm just using this for example. Say you want, this is nothing against no constitutional officer, but just say you want to talk about the budget of a certain, I'm just going to pull Penny out of here. Say you want to talk about something about Penny's office. Well, you should bring enough information to know what we're going to talk about, or where it's headed, where you think it's headed, to at least inform the rest of the commissioners what you have or subject matter of, and also it should let them be able to come to the meeting and represent their office also. Before, when we had the public comments that you mentioned earlier, those were kind of used in the past for, hey, Relay for Life, something's not on the agenda, but we'd like for it brought out for the members of our community. Hey, Relay of Life's fixing to have an event, or something like that. That's what that was put on there for us to be able to remind each other. We can't remember everything, but there's some things we'd like to put out there as commissioners. The mobile pantries coming to town, or different things. That's kind of what that commissioner comment was for, but it went from being that to become just a place where a commissioner could just come out of left field with anything, and we'd be bogged down for 2 hours, and that's not an official meeting. So, I don't even have to know what it's about, just other than what everybody else knows about. And if you don't want to bring me, you can bring it to the vice chair. I'm opening this up, you can bring it to the vice chair, and just let Andy, that way we can at least sit here and and know what we're fixing to preside over. And that's all I ask. I don't think that's a long fix for anyone.
Okay, let me ask this.
Yes, ma'am.
Board appointment,
Yes, ma'am.
district representation, what else needs to be added there?
Well, I mean, are you saying that there's not enough? Which board? I mean, I don't know what's on every board. We have 20 different boards.
I'm talking about boards, all the boards.
Okay, I think that.
My concern was district representation, but you couldn't even put that on there. What else needed to be added on here for me?
Well, and I will say this right here too. And this comes from tenure and going through these things. But a lot of times when you have these meetings where you select a chair and vice chair, and the organization meetings at the first of the year, sometimes it's best to keep those kind of short and sweet and not get bogged down in a lot of things, because sometimes when something don't go a certain way, then it's kind of hard to conduct business without attaining hard a little bit. So I really wanted to try to keep this agenda as short as possible, being it was the first meeting of the year. But I would like a little, just spell out, hey, I don't feel like there's enough of my district on these boards. And then, hey, we'll sit down and we'll have a meeting and say, okay, well, this is what we got, this is what's here. Show me where you think we can, because we have a hard enough time putting people on these boards.
Okay, so what was wrong with this? That it couldn't be put on the agenda?
What?
Board appointment, district representation.
I still don't know what that is. I've been county attorney 20 years. What does that mean?
Each board, we got 5 districts here.
Okay?
Okay, if you got 5 members on a board somewhere, I think
Well,
that you should at least have one representative from each district. That's the only thing I was gonna say
Well,
about it.
why don't you tell them that in advance? I don't even know I didn't know what you meant.
But the thing about it is,
See, you don't understand the nature of a meeting. The meetings are generally for decision making, not for consideration. Why didn't you email everyone in advance?
Okay, that's water under the bridge. That's behind us. We're starting a new year. I have a motion, a second. Any further discussion?
yeah, I'm still not clear on, you've got these examples down here. Do I'm supposed to have questions on there or tell you, what do you expect in order for me to get it on the agenda? 'Cause you
Just making some, I'm just making some, we know aware enough of what we're gonna be talking about. You know,
Okay,
if you would have said, hey, I don't have enough district representation, on the boards for my district, then we could have come in here, we could have pulled all the board members. I don't know I know who's on most of these boards, but I don't know where they live. I don't know if they're in my district. I mean, our districts, like you said.
And I have a list of that y'all this week. I've been working.
And I've actually had her working on this, getting all our board members up that way. And that goes back to say that with just a little bit of communication, I think we all after the same thing. I think everyone here has Truton County in their heart, and they want to be fair with this thing, and we want to get the best that we can for our citizens, but we're not communicating. You know, did you know that I was trying to compile all the boards? Because nobody asked. They just want to come in here and throw this and that on the agenda and then show our tails in here in a meeting, and that ain't right. So, you know, does anyone else have any discussion about this?
Commissioner Powell has one. Go ahead, Commissioner Powell.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Powell.
Yeah, let me interject something here, just to be fair to Ms. Gillis. Why don't we have a workshop to address those issues that she's wanting to bring up?
I'm good with that. I'll have a workshop anytime you want to. I think it makes us a better board and we'll look better going into the future. I'm not proud of what we're putting out here right now. And I think this motion is a step towards that.
A lot of counties that I've learned in training, a lot of counties have a workshop before they have meetings, so that everybody's on the same page, they know what's going on, there's good communication, nobody's blindsided, and it's a better way for all board members to work together. And I do think that it's a good idea to have a work. I know I can't vote or anything, but I think it's a good idea for there to be a workshop before every meeting, whether it be an hour before, or whether it be a Friday before, whatever suits everybody. That's just an
Actually, the city has a workshop every month.
I'm
I don't see us having one every month. It may be quarterly. I don't know. But what I do know as vice chair, these meetings have gotten out of hand. There's a lot of disrespect in these meetings. It's a lot of, I think, overpowering in these meetings, and we need to stop. This is the only board that does this that I know of, and it's ridiculous. Now, the agenda, what I would like to see, and Commissioner Hood said it, bring the items to either himself or myself. I have talked to another commissioner in another county yesterday. They do the same thing. Now, the chairman or the vice chairman don't throw everything out, and that's what I don't want. If someone wants something on this agenda, it needs to be on the agenda. But I do think we don't need to come in here blindsided. And when Commissioner Gillis said that she talked to another commissioner, it was me. And I did say, out of courtesy, I will let people know what I want to talk about. But it's never been addressed that we had to. But I think we do need to know coming in. I mean, she's got spending maybe a little bit more burden, but I'm not gonna sit here and say you can't be on the agenda. But we do need to get these meetings in order. We really do.
I agree. No one said no one could not be on the agenda. We just want to have information about what we're going to discuss. And that's what the motion on the floor is. So if there's not any further discussion, I'd like to take a vote upon the matter. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right. And if y'all want to let me know about a workshop, I will be more than glad to accommodate the board in any way, and we'll have a workshop. And with that, we are now going to fix to go into executive session under the mantra of personnel. Appreciate everyone for attending today. Sorry, we kind of got out of hand, but we're trying to get right.
I'd just like to say one thing.
Go ahead, sir. Yes, sir.
Is my District 5.
Yes, sir.
And I just want her to be able to be a part about my city.
I agree with 110. I don't want to try to stop anyone.
Thank y'all for coming, District 5.
Appreciate everyone. This is open and no one's trying to squelch anyone. Everyone's welcome. We just got to. Yes, sir, go ahead.
The question was never answered by Attorney Conway. What allegations were on?
What's that, sir?
The question you asked to the allegation. What about, was she being accused of?
I tell you what, Rick, we got to get going. If you want to put that on the next, come to the next meeting, put that on the first,
The question was answered, I don't know what the question was.
you want to come?
You're all talking at me.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Gentlemen,
The meeting's over. We're going into the personnel part of it. If anyone wants to address the board, any business, they can come before the board at the next meeting. I'm saying, about the meeting on the